Hey Jason, I just want to take a minute to look at this video, look at the one that we have on the left there. And one of the big key things when I was talking about the club face gets closed in the backswing, it's not only how the face sits, but it's also the direction the shaft goes relative to your arms at the top, especially the left arm. And it's getting the club more in a proper swing plane, which is going to make it easier for you to return the club more square, more consistent. And because that driver, as I said before, has very little loft, you've got to bring it in more open. Now you can get it airborne because if you're going to bring it in open, let's say if it has 9 degrees to start, if you're going to bring it in more open, you're going to go from 9 to 11 to 12 to 13. It doesn't, we don't know how much loft you're adding as you're opening the face, which is going to get the ball in the air. The irons already have loft, so you can get away with it. But the move we're going to talk about is going to make it better for everything that you're swinging. And you can see here as you move off the ball, the golf club has a tendency to work, I always call this the first 3 feet when the club's parallel to the ground and the target line. You can see how far inside and behind you it gets. Relative to this one on the right, you see, as we move this one back, you can see the first 3 feet. I know the camera angle is a little different, but you can see that one's not inside at all. It's right down where the hands are. And you can see your club head's inside behind your hands. But here's the real key. When your hands get to the top of the swing and that shaft gets to the top, I want you to note I've put a green line on where your left forearm is. You see how the shaft crosses that forearm? It's directly pointing to the right, so it's more even right of where the arms are sitting. So that in itself is going to help close the face even more relative to the arms. And so with that driver, you're going to have to open it to get it in the air. And if you watch this one on the right-hand side get to the top, you see how the shaft doesn't cross the arm at all. So now the face in the video on the right is square to where the arms are, and it's still on a good swing plane, and yours is actually closed to it. And so now you're going to get the blocks. And it doesn't mean you can't hook a drive either, but it just won't get in the air very high at all. And it doesn't do you any good to release the arms through with this driver because you would hook it so much. So you're going to hold it off and block the face open. With an iron, you can do it. You'll get some draws. You maybe overdraw it at times, but you would be better off if we got it more neutral. The other thing I want you to see here too, by getting this club up here, I'm going to take this little line here, I'm going to go in and I'm going to grab a little bar here. It's going to help me edit these drawings. And I'm just going to show you this one. We can move this around a little bit, and I can show you where I might be able to, maybe not. It's not showing me the bar right now, but yeah, we'll leave it at that. I think we can see when we look at this number here, it's about 47 degrees. And if we took another line and drew it up here, basically where this is sitting, somewhat parallel to that, and bring it over here, we're going to see a line that's, roughly 46. It's a match to what happened. And you can see relative to yours over here, if we look at it, looking at this line, it's 42 degrees at address. You can see where I'm at here. And if we draw another one up here, let's just take this right here, and we'll draw this down where your forearm sits and move this over. That's 45, so they're pretty close. The big factor in why you're having so much trouble with this golf club is where it sits at the top of the swing relative to the forearm. And that's really the thing that needs to get fixed right away. We've got to get that golf club pointing in a different direction. And once we can do that, that's going to help keep the face more square to the arms, help keep the club more on plane and make it easier. So basically the golf club for you is going to have to start straighter away from the ball and feel like the forearms are going to rotate a little bit more to set the shaft more left of the backswing and the shoulder at the top than versus so far to the right. Where you can see this one will do that as this golf club comes away. I'm going to back this video up just a little bit. It'll go very straight, and then as the forearms rotate, it'll keep the shaft so it doesn't cross that forearm at all. And so that's really what we're looking at. We can get the club to set in a little bit different angle at the top of the swing with the arms. You'll be able to fully release it and take that golf club down nice and square, and you won't have to block it open anymore. As this thing comes down and begins to swing down, you can see how the arms are going to pull it down very sharp here. And then as it comes into contact, the shaft is going to work very much more up than where it was at address, and it's going to be even a little bit more vertical than it was when you started. And so if I took this line, you can see where it is now. We started out at 42, and if we draw another one on where this shaft is now, in here, that's about right there, and send this over. you know, we're looking at an angle now that's about 50. So it's about 8 degrees even upright from where you started. And so that in itself is going to push the ball off to the right also. So it's a matter of getting that golf club in the backswing in a little bit different spot that's going to help keep the shaft in a better position and allow you to release that golf club and allow it to swing through without losing that ball to the right. It's going to make your irons even better. You'll get better lofted on them. You'll be able to probably get a better spin rate and get those balls to carry a little bit further without the club face being so close. So that's what I would see, and that's the way I would do it. It's got to swing straighter away in the first 3 feet. And then as you can see, this one straight away right here, it's right opposite, pardon me, it's right opposite of the hands here. And then as it comes up, it stays parallel to the original shaft angle, which you can see here. And the forearms need to stay in that way. Keep the hands very quiet. There's not going to be a lot of wrist hinge in this either. And that's going to keep that golf club swinging so it stays more parallel to the forearm and doesn't cross it at the top. And you can see in here as yours goes away again, as it comes up, now it's going to work up. What goes in is always going to go up. And in your case, it gets up across the line and crosses the forearm right there. So now the club's completely closed to the arms. And as I said before in that scenario, once the door's closed, you got to open it. You can't keep it closed, especially with a driver. If you had a wedge in your hand, you could keep it closed. It's got enough loft to throw it up in the air. But this one doesn't, so it's going to be harder for you to control it. So hope that makes sense. If not, just send me a message, and we'll chat some more. All right. Happy golfing. Keep it up.